Welcome to Pink Kink,
where we are ready to guide you through the wild and wonderful world of kink.
I'm Princess Rara.
And I'm Dara, the Electro Khaleesi.
Whether you are a baby kinkster, a seasoned pro, or just here for the entertainment, Pink Kink will help you level up your kink knowledge.
Join us as we share our own wild, sometimes awkward, but always entertaining experiences and spill the tea from our combined 30-plus years in the private and professional kink worlds.
So grab your favorite flogger or wand.
Thank you.
And buckle up. You'll learn, you'll laugh, and who knows, you might just spit out your coffee.
Let's get this kinky party started.
Want more Pink Kink in your life? Join our Patreon and get ready for a whole lot of kinky fun and exclusive perks.
As a patron, you'll unlock access to our private Discord server where you can connect with fellow kinksters and chat directly with us. You'll also score adorable pink kink stickers and enjoy a monthly behind-the-scenes podcast packed with juicy tidbits we don't share anywhere else. Plus, get sweet discounts at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique, and on our online classes at Pink Kink Institute.
But wait, there's more.
More?
Our impactful and electrifying Pink Kinksters get extras, such as bonus content and free digital downloads. Oh, and let's not forget, the Pink Standard of patrons will be recognized as producers on both the podcast and on our website, because we couldn't do this without you. Today's episode is produced by our electrifying Pink Kinksters. Thank you, Jay, Witcherman, Daddy J, Naughty and Nice, Butte Pain, Manda Panda, Cat, Stefan, Shadow Phoenix, Enchanted Sparrow, The Wombat, Impact Hazard, Twitch, The Midnight Girl, Sinful, J21, Daisy If You Do, Serenity, Belle, Eric, Pumpkin Pie, S'more, Hacksaw, Devoted Knight, 3 AM Thoughts, Crash Override, Swiper, no swiping,
Barbie, Navigator Bard, Mr. Pillsbury, Peaches, Mighty Owl, Chaos Monster, Jessa Lady, Jack, Ophelia, Lady to Kitten, Sadia Lemon, Ben, Noir, Elysium Rose, Avalia, Nora Morapora, Bricks, Wonder Chris, Cheshi, Manders, Swinging Amish, Dark Gaia, Hyper Tarantula, Sunny Bee, Baby Squirrel, and Freddy Queen.
I'm kind of excited about this episode because it's something that we talk about a lot, and it comes up a lot in other Discord servers and on social media. Though this was not inspired by social media, mark your calendars. It's another episode that was inspired by something else.
Holy shit.
It happens. I like to, change things up. Don't want people to get bored.
It's pretty rare when it happens, though. Okay, I have to warn you that this is something I forgot to warn you about before we started recording, so this is like fresh news to your ears.
Oh, goodness.
Something very, very dangerous is about to happen.
I'm afraid to ask.
I'm awake.
Well, that's one of us.
You see this?
I see that.
Yeah, I'm awake.
I'm on my second cup of coffee.
I apologize in advance.
Does that mean you're going to be more hyperactive than normal?
Yes, and then I will crash for the second episode that we are recording today, so this is only going to be this one.
So enjoy this while it lasts, folks. So really, definitely mark your calendars. A, not inspired by social media, and B, Dara's awake. This combination may never happen again.
Nope. Not in anyone else's lifetime.
Definitely not mine, because I'm running out of lives.
How many have you used?
If I were a cat, I'm already up to like 7 or 8.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I have no idea what I'm on, so... Well, wait, hold on. I bet I could calculate that. I know I have almost died at least once. So, 2?
Well, it's not so much that I've almost died, but more like I almost got myself killed. Because it's not like I was sick or anything. It was more I did something stupid.
Oh, well, then I'm on, 16. If that's the criteria, I'm a fucking ghost. I've gone through multiple cat lives at this point.
Is this, yeah. So basically what inspired me to put this episode together was a conversation that was happening in a different Discord server than our Pink Kink one, which, by the way, I got to say, I got to say it if I mention the Discord server.
Absolutely.
If you want to become a member of our Discord server, all you have to do is join our Patreon at patreon.com/PinkKinkPodcast. You get many amazing perks depending upon your tier that you join. But even at the bottom tier, which is only $2 a month, you will get to be a member of our Discord server where Dara and I are active in it, and you have access to us all the time. You get to inspire us with episodes. You get to help us write the notes on an episode and get mentioned. So lots of fun stuff. So check that out. Anyway.
Also, we're very, 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 very silly.
Well, we're silly here, so I don't know if that's necessarily a surprise.
No, it is not.
Actually, if anything, the people are surprised to find out that the way we are on the podcast is actually how we are in real life.
This is not
for the podcast.
This is not a drill. This is how we really are. Do we need to go back and tell that story again?
You go ahead. Go tell it. Since you're awake, go for it.
I mean, you actually know which story I'm talking about, right?
I think I do.
From the server we were in together before we started Pink. Okay,
exactly.
So, yeah,
the one that inspired me to ask you to be my co-host.
It was such a sweet proposal. It was, hey, you wanna? No, but for real, do you wanna? Here's all the perks. No, but all of this. Do you wanna? Okay, that was how it happened. Okay, so anyway, we were in a server with, I don't know that we knew anybody else in there. So like you were in the server and then you were telling us all of this stuff that was happening in the server. And I was like, fuck this. This sounds like great tea. So I joined the server and it was a kink-based server. And suddenly it became what they dubbed the Rara and Dara show. Because we would like basically tag team this stuff and like just go back and forth with it. Good cop, bad cop was born.
We also did the voice chat. It was also one night in a voice chat in that server where
I
a
was
bunch
getting
of us
to that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, got ahead of myself.
That was the fun part. But anyway, that was just text. Then one day we did a voice chat, and this voice chat was absolutely hysterical. And it was mostly, I don't know if okay. So those of you who have not joined our Patreon, we do munches every month on like video, like on Zoom. This was like that, only without video. It was just voice. And God, what was this? Was this a Discord server or a Kik server? I can't even remember.
Discord server. Kik.
It was Discord.
Yeah, Kik didn't do.
Kik was on its way out.
Voice. Yeah.
It was being kicked. And we took over this chat and just kept it was like 2 hours worth of just me and Rara talking. And Rara took that and went, interesting. I bet we could do this full time. Almost 5 years later, here we are.
I wish you guys could see this. As Dara's telling the story, she is filing her nails, and it's cracking me up because it looks like, right, like what you would see on a TV show. Like, I'm just going to file my nails. Is this hard? Like, it's hard? And just
I'm doing the faces too, like
the duck face. Well, the duck face, yes, the millennial duck face.
I am a millennial. I was going to say that.
No, it's fair. It's valid. You do it, but yeah.
Listen, I had to file my nails. It was extremely important because there was a chip in one and it kept catching on my sweater and it was driving me crazy.
That's not acceptable.
Exactly.
I just got my nails done again. It was time. And the funny thing is I've had the exact same color of my nails for like 2+ years now. Never changes. I might get a design on it, but it is, as soon as I found this color, I'm like, this is it. I'm done. It is literally the same color as the Pink Kink logo.
Oh, that sort of...
that hot pink.
Bubblegum, but really dark bubblegum.
Yeah, it's the hot pink, bright pink. Yeah, so it's that. I am so on brand at all times that my nails are the Pink Kink logo color.
You know what you should do?
What do I do?
You should actually try and get like that PK logo on your nails before you go to Naughty Noel.
I'm sure I could take the logo and like get it made into nail stickers, but that's a lot of money for just.
Well, then get it turned into nail stickers. That would be so funny.
We'll see. Maybe a tattoo. I already got one tattoo off of our Dama Bear sticker.
Yeah, that's true. Oh God, we haven't made a sticker in a long time.
It's okay. We sell plenty of stickers. Trust me. I've got the pile. But anyway.
You're welcome.
So as we digressed, let's get back. This came about because somebody was talking about, they were trying to figure out what their label was. And I know there's a lot of people who are anti-label. As a Virgo, borderline OCD person, I like my labels. For me, the problem is not the label. It's when you let the label box you in. To me, the label is the starting line. So you know whether you're going left or right, but it's not something where you have to just stick to what's in that label. So
it's not a stay in your lane kind of situation.
Right. So they were talking about something they identify initially as a sub, and they do have a dominant. And they were talking about something that they did for their dominant or their dominant did for them that might appear to be more submissive. And they wondered, does that make them really a switch dynamic? And I, of course, go, guys, it is not the act itself that is dominant or submissive. It's the intention behind it. It's what is the purpose? That's what makes something dominant or submissive. And I thought, okay, this has happened. This kind of conversation has happened so many times, right? I don't even think I can count how many times someone said, is this a dominant thing or does this make me a submissive? And like we've seen, there's the ones where and you know he's a dominant because it's a man and he's wearing a suit. So you know he has to be a dominant.
A gray suit.
Right? The gray suit. And she's standing and he's down on his knees tying her shoes. And someone's like, oh, that's not very dominant of him. And it's like, yes, it is. He's told her to stop and stay still. He's taking care of her. Nobody thinks twice when you take your car in to get the service. I just had my 100,000-mile checkup on my car because you take good care of the things so that they can take good care of you. Had an entire conversation with my car and I said, Mama's got you all fixed and you're all better now. You're going to start for me every morning, aren't you?
I just had to do something like that too because I had to get a new alternator.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Those are not cheap.
No, it was not.
Well, my car's like 10 years old. And while I normally don't like to drive cars that are that old, I really, really like no car payments. So I've decided I like no car payments much more than I like driving something new.
Yes. I also like that, especially in this economy.
Yep. But the whole thing is something that I need to serve me. And that's what my car does. It serves me. I need to take care of it so it is in shape to serve me.
Do you realize that I just figured this out. I just spent more on groceries yesterday than I did on a car payment.
I didn't, but I did go to Costco, so it was close.
I got food for me and Daddy J, and I'm doing some prep stuff, and the dogs, and it was more than my previous car payment was.
Ouch.
For a month.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But people look at that and see the dominant on their knees tying shoes and immediately are like, is that a real dominant? Because too many people equate the kink roles with the visible actions, what they see, instead of really looking at the internal dynamics of the whole thing, right?
Well, yeah, it could be a daddy taking care of the little. Come on. You know, the one that really bugs me is when people say that the dom going down on the sub is not domly.
Excellent.
That one pisses me the fuck off.
Excellent thing.
Look, it's been 5 minutes and you've already pissed me the fuck off.
Well, I didn't. They did. The infamous quote unquote they.
They.
I agree with you.
True. But you brought it up. You brought up all this stuff. And now I'm mad.
I am a masochist. I mean, a sadist. I am a masochist too. But I guess in this case it works both. I'm a sadist, so I'm being mean to you, but then I'm stuck listening to it, so I'm a masochist.
Exactly. Your fault. Your fault entirely.
Entirely. I accept that. But the problem when you start to look at the visible actions to applied labels is you are leading to gatekeeping. There is a lot of insecurity because people start wondering, shit, am I doing kink right?
Yes.
And I've written an entire article. It is in the Obedience App magazine. Once a significant amount of time will go by, I will also repost it on our blog at pinkkinkpodcast.com. But it basically is, you're not doing kink wrong. You're just doing it differently. And you're doing it the way that works for you as individuals. Because the same physical act, like tying shoes, like giving oral sex, can express dominance. It can express submission, service, care, or control, depending entirely on the intention. and power exchange involved.
It could be based on, shall we say, context clues.
Ooh, definitely. So I really want to kind of go over how to identify the intention in a scene, how to separate the acts from the roles, and figure out how all of this can really deepen your DS connection. So starting off, what is intention when it comes to kink? Now, I will admit, this concept of intention, I've always understood the word intention. I know what it means, but this concept of intention, like it's its own little category, is a new thing. I don't know if we're going to give that to millennials or the Gen Zs, but
I don't even know what it is. I don't know
I
what you're
hear a
talking
lot
about.
of
I
people,
know the word,
right? I hear a
so
lot of
probably
people
not
talk
millennials.
about doing things with intention. And that just means you are really putting thought into something. You are doing it purposefully, that you actually are thinking before you do something. Well, what is my intention in doing this? What is the outcome I'm looking for? And then how do I ensure that what I'm doing gets me that outlook?
I figured it out.
All right, I'm
So
ready.
I'm reading this new book, and it's a fae book, of course. So tricky fae, right? And they said if you go through this gate, like they call it a moon gate or whatever, a moon door or something like that. So it's like a portal, and you have to do it with intention, because if you don't, mistakes can be made. So of course, somebody made a mistake. They were joking around and said, I'm a chicken. No, buck, 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 I'm a chicken. Like some sort of idiot, and then accidentally fell through the gate and got transformed into a fucking chicken.
Whoops.
So, with intention, please.
Right. So basically, when we talk about the intention, we're talking about the why behind every action or word in your dynamic, right? So intention could be emotional. You're doing something to nurture or guide or surrender. Maybe it's psychological. You want to test limits or build trust. Or maybe it's relational. You want to please somebody or protect them or empower them, right? Without intention, an act just becomes mechanical or even purely aesthetic, right? More like a kink cosplay rather than authentic exchange.
Like you being a sub?
Yeah, I certainly didn't have intention when I did. Well, I should say my intention was just very selfish. I wanted what I wanted. And when he didn't give it to me, I made it happen on my own.
Right.
But that does not turn into a healthy dynamic for anybody, even if your partner is not Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly, when we talk about power in DS, right? Power is about who holds the influence and who yields it by choice. Notice I didn't say, I said who yields it and holds it, because this goes back to this idea about the submissive has all the power or the dominant has all the power. No, the power is the ability to either hold the influence or yield it, because you have the power over yourself to make choices, to be intentional. So it's both, right? And power can flow both ways. The dominants feel empowered through control, while the submissives are feeling empowered through surrender. And you guys know how I love my E word, empowered.
It's one
right?
of your favorite E words.
It is. I have favorite F words. I have favorite E words.
What is just your favorite word?
Probably fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can mean so much.
It's so versatile.
Right? And like I could say the word, and just depending upon how I do the tone, fuck means one thing, or fuck.
My absolute favorite is abso-fucking-lutely.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or fan-fucking-tastic.
Oh, well, see, it is the beauty and the power of the word fuck.
It's so empowering to use the word fuck.
It is. There we go. Instead of being empowerment through education, should we be empowerment through fucking?
I don't think that's really the way you want to go with this.
Well, I think it might be hard to get that on any of the social media sites if I have the word fuck. TikTok doesn't even like it when I use the word kink. I have to spell it K1NK.
Poor thing.
I went through a stage of, I started a new series called Building Your Kink Foundation. And literally, I would post it and it was immediately flagged. And it wasn't that they took it down. They just said it can't be recommended, which means only the followers can see it, nobody else. And you can't grow that way. And every time I appeal it, and I win the appeal because I was very careful with what I said. But the minute I put up the one that had the word kink spelled K1NK, look, I didn't get flagged. So frustrating. Anyway, power can flow both ways. Oh, I said that already. Sorry. I just want to remind you. Power can flow both ways, right? And power exchange exists even in small gestures. Things like eye contact.
You good?
I'm good now. I just got excited. Eye contact or tone or waiting for permission. And as Dara said, because she's brilliant like this, context.
Yes, it is all about, because, okay, so for real, take the word fuck. It is tone and it is context. If I'm sitting here going, oh, fuck, or if I'm sitting here going, ooh, oh, holy fuck, this is great. Like, it's context, it's tone. It's all about the intention of how I'm using it. Maybe we should just call this the fuck episode.
Oh, well, I don't think I can use the word fuck.
Okay.
It would have to there'd have to be like ampersands and asterisks and different things.
Okay, but that would actually be really funny.
I'm sure we can find an episode at some point where we can actually make that a reasonable title. So looking at context, for example, we talk about the dominant kneeling to help a submissive out of their restraints or to tie a shoelace. They're still exerting control through care. While a submissive kneeling could be about offering service, or it could be demanding attention through rituals that they've used before, right? So the body language is going to look completely identical, but the energy is totally different. And this distinction matters because once you understand that intention helps people stop chasing some sort of label and instead helps them cultivate this connection, and it helps kink stay grounded in consent and communication rather than this image or performative-based kink. It's about the relationship and the dynamic between those two people or three people if you have that kind of relationship.
Or more than three, whatever.
Listen, as somebody who is totally reading all of every Omega book I can get my hand on, I am all about the more the merrier.
Okay, then.
Because, it takes a village to keep Rara happy.
God, the cracks that I want to make about that.
Like you already haven't made them at some point or another in our 9 years of friendship.
I like to recycle.
So, all right, let's talk about that the act itself is not the identity, right? So some common myths that people kind of use and believe. Dominants don't kneel.
Sure they do.
Well, I don't know, but sometimes if you're laying on the bed and they're trying to eat you out, they're going to have to kneel to get there. Unless
why not?
Unless you're in a really high bed or something, I don't know. Submissive
sex swing.
Those are fun. I've done those.
Mm-hmm.
Submissive shouldn't give orders.
How'd that work out for you, Rara?
Well, in my case, it was correct. I should have given orders. It wasn't being very submissive of me. However, there was one aspect where I was being very submissive, but was still giving orders. And that was I had been put in charge of the munch. That was assigned to me by my dominant, and I was given the responsibility, which means I was to call the restaurant, schedule the location and time and date, and then tell him so he could now post it up on FetLife. But there's other things. There's other things where if a submissive is assigned a task by the dominant, and maybe that task includes giving orders so that they can follow through. I mean, one of the things in any relationship, DS or otherwise, everybody gets to decide what their strengths and weaknesses are. And if the submissive has something that's a strength and it's a weakness for the dominant, then there's nothing wrong with the dominant saying to the submissive, you are now in charge of this.
Well, like a good example of that would be if the submissive is an accountant. They would be the person, okay, let's say I had a submissive that was an accountant. I'd be like, okay, you're in charge of finances. Have fun.
Yeah.
You're in charge of bookkeeping.
We talk a lot about submissives wanting to be submissives because they make all the decisions. They're tired of making all the decisions and they want to be able to turn their mind off and have that break.
to me, that's not just a submissive thing. That's a human thing. Even dominants have that point in time sometimes where we're like, we have been making decisions all damn fucking day. Can we take a break here? Now, the difference is maybe we just want to break for like one thing or just want to break for 24 hours versus maybe submissives want bigger breaks or longer breaks.
I mean, speaking from personal experience, that is the reason that I like to be little, because I can turn my brain off and I don't have to make any more goddamn decisions. My job is so incredibly stressful. I make decisions all day long. I'm in charge of a lot of stuff. This year, I took on more responsibility and I am leading more of my team than I was previously. And it's difficult. And when I come home, I don't want to fucking even decide what to make for dinner. Half the time, I can't even decide what I want to watch on TV. That's how brained out I am.
And I don't mind making decisions most of the time. I'm a Virgo and a control freak, or is that the same thing? So it's fine. But every now and then I'm just exhausted. Maybe I'm tired, a little bit of burnout. And I just need for like just a day or maybe just one thing taken off my plate. It happens. We're human. That's the other thing too. Yes, we are dominants, or yes, we are submissives or switches. But that's not 100% of our personality. That's not what comes first. What comes first is we're humans. And as humans, we have needs.
Here.
Another myth is that tops are always in control. I'd like to believe that, but sometimes we're not. And not through any fault of our own. It's not that we don't want to be in control, but there are things that are out of our control. Can put needles into somebody and control abso-fucking-lutely everything I try to. And then, Cindy, I'm talking about you and you know it, babe. I pull the needle out and you decide, and I do mean Cindy decides, I blame her for this all the time. You decide you don't want to bleed a little bit. You just want to bleed a lot. Okay? I had no control over that. If I'd had control over that, it wouldn't have happened. And I wish I could say, oh, well, if I did this and that's why it happened. So if I don't do that again, it won't happen. No, the only thing that happened is I put it in her thigh. If I put it in her back, she doesn't do that to me. But if I put it in her thigh, it happens to me a lot.
So Cindy decided, right? So Cindy has control over how much she bleeds.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying. She knows this.
Okay.
I tell this to her face. She's laughing right now. She's listening to this because she knows I tell her this all the time, right? Or what happened is when somebody bumped into me when I was with their wheelchair. Now, thankfully, nothing bad happened of it, but I can control what I can control. But I can't control that somebody behind me in a wheelchair decides to not pay attention to their space and bumps into me. I can't control that. So, yeah, we're not always in control. Sorry, folks. Don't mean to burst your bubble.
Sorry, Rara, you're not always in control.
I know, which is why, and I told you earlier, I control what I can. And the more other things get out of control, the more tighter I'm going to control what I can control.
Rara literally, before we started recording, started telling me about a plan B that she has that's ready to go. The second she needs to initiate, it is go time. She's going to hit the button and it's going to go red alert and it's going to be go.
Yes, I don't see anything wrong with this. And I know I'm not the only one because I have gotten on Virgo TikTok.
Wait, do I want to ask?
No, it's just all the things that I was just like, oh, that's just me. It's not just me. It's all the other Virgos, except for Dara, who's a Virgo imposter.
I mean, my birthday is September 3rd. I am very close to not being a Virgo. Kind of like how you were very close to being a boomer.
Well, yeah, I'm very close to not being a Virgo because I am the 21st of September. Like, I think the 22nd or 23rd is the day it switches over.
Okay, wait a minute. Then when is...
Wait, August. Sometime in August is when Virgos start.
Hold on. Virgo calendar. Wait, that's going to... August 23rd. Okay, so I'm smack in the middle. There is no reason why I should...
What does it go to? What does it go to?
September 22nd.
Thank you. On the 21st, I just made it in, but they don't get more Virgo than me.
Okay, you are... Okay, I think I figured out the reason. You're very gung-ho Gen X so that you're not considered a boomer, and you're very gung-ho Virgo so that you're not considered a... What comes after Virgo? Whatever comes after Virgo.
Yeah.
Fuck if I know. I don't know any of them except for that one. I guess, maybe. Yes, because what's his face? When he has the October party for his birthday is a Libra party.
There we go. But yeah, so here's the other thing related to kind of this. Bottoms are always passive. Hello. Hello. Hi, I'd like to introduce you to me. I'm not passive. I'm not passive, folks, and I bottom. Not as much as I need to. I need to bottom more. Naughty Noel is coming up, and there's already 2 people I desperately need to reach out to and see if I can do some bottoming scenes. But the problem with these myths is it really it flattens DS into just binary, into this or that, instead of a more fluid exchange. Or as we like to talk about, the and. We are big proponents of the and, not the or. That's why I switch. I don't want to limit myself. That's why I'm polyamory. I don't want to limit myself. I want it all. I'm a princess. I shouldn't have to settle. I want everything.
Why choose?
Thank you. Why choose? I don't want to choose.
Right? Why choose? Takes a village to raise a rah-rah.
Listen, I really need a reverse harem because at least in all of my books in the reverse harem, with 3 or more, one guy's dick is long, one guy's dick is wide, and the third guy's dick is pierced. So I need to get into a why choose romance so I can have my pierced dick.
You have mentioned that, yes.
I'm just saying. I'm going to keep mentioning it. I'm manifesting it. The pierced dick, I am manifesting it.
You know, you should probably convince Sweets to get a pierced dick then.
I don't think he would do that. I know Diesel wouldn't.
I think you need another partner.
Diesel's got the other 2 covered, so I'm good. So let's talk about dominants performing quote-unquote submissive acts, right? Well, dominants can provide aftercare, cuddling, bringing blankets, stuffies, chocolate, brushing hair, getting a bath together, whatever it is, because their responsibility doesn't end when the scene itself ends. And I know it might look like it's being submissive when they're taking care of their toy, basically. But come on, if they didn't do that, you'd look at these dominants like they were walking, talking red flags and tell everybody to avoid them.
Giant fucking asshole.
So you can't have it both ways, folks. Maybe they're going to kneel to offer focus or reverence to their submissives, vulnerability, or right? I've gotten down on my knees and whispered into my partner's ears how proud I was of them for suffering for me, for taking those needles, for taking that hard hit. But I'm down on my knees doing it because I want to get right in their face. And a lot of times we're in a very loud dungeon. And so unless I get right up next to them, put my mouth right near their ears, they're not going to be able to hear me.
See, and I'm going to tell you right now, no one will ever see me on my knees ever, but that's...
Well, or if they do, call 911.
Right, because that means
she can't get up.
If I am on my knees, there is a medical issue. Get me the fuck back up.
Well, it's going to hurt me getting on my knees, but again, masochist, so it's fine.
No, my knees are so broken. There's no reason I will ever be on my knees.
And here's one that I know blows people's minds because this is hard for them to understand because this is me, right? Dominants can and do receive pain or restraint for their own emotional release and their own introspection. I don't like to use the term switch because while I top and I bottom, I only dominate, I do not submit. And woe is the poor sucker who thinks I'm going to submit. And so when I tell people I'm a dominant who likes to bottom, it blows their minds.
Yeah, they get very confused. It's actually funny.
And I can bottom to other people. One of the things that's really hard for me is one of the reasons I don't bottom as much as I used to is because finding people that I can respect their skills enough to bottom to is getting harder and harder the more I top.
Interesting.
So, right. So my needle tops, Learning Curve, and Nina, I have the utmost fucking respect for them. So bottoming for them is easy peasy lemon squeezy. I can bottom for somebody in a teaching role if I know that they're new and they're not as skilled, but my goal is to teach them. Then I could bottom for them. But otherwise, I can't bottom for you. I just can't. It's hard. So I don't get to do it as much as I want, which is why I'm going to try really hard I'm hoping Nina's going to be at Naughty Noel. I'm really hoping. I know she listens. I think this might come out after Naughty Noel. I don't remember. I'm really hoping I'll be able to tell you a story that I got to bottom for needles with her, because she's fantastic. And then,
which I will be plugging my ears for.
That's fine. I accept that. And then there's a single tail expert that I bottomed for last year at Naughty Noel that I'm really hoping I will get to bottom for again. I just have to remember to send a message, because Naughty Noel is about 3 weeks from the recording date of this.
This is coming out 12/12.
Oh, then it'd be the weekend after.
Okay.
So I'm manifesting it, and I would tell you to wish for it, but it's too late for you listening. The dominant's intention remains that they choose when and how to surrender, and they maintain power through that entire decision. So again, it is about the intention. It is, I'll give a good example, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, but you never know when someone's new and doesn't know the story. There was a long time ago, like pre-COVID long time ago, where there was a bunch
many moons ago.
Isn't that weird? Life is now, like, forget BC and AC. It's now before COVID and after COVID. That's the C.
Yes. Not, what is it?
Christ? Isn't that Christ or whatever?
Well, the BC is, and then it's AD, so Anno Domini.
Which is why in my calendar we're year 5,700 and something.
Mm-hmm.
But now everything's before COVID and after COVID. So before COVID, I was involved in a conversation with a bunch of other masochists, and we were talking about what the pain does for us and why we take that pain. And I should have recognized this was before I really fully admitted to being a dominant. I was still in that submissive role play, cosplay idea. And a lot of the people in there were talking about, I take pain for my dominant. I take the pain because my dominant loves it. I take the pain to show my dominant the power they have over me, the control they have over me. I take the pain as a sign of submission. And I was the only one who was talking about, I take the pain to challenge myself. I take the pain to see what I can do. And I was the only one in that whole group who was taking pain for me and for nobody else. And that should have been my first clue, but it wasn't, because I was still new and learning, right? So I still feel that way. When we were planning my 400 needles scene, my learning curve was mentioned that they were worried I would go past where I should go because I'm stubborn AF. I love that. Now,
I mean, that's a valid concern.
Well, it is. But I also pointed out, because I'm not taking the pain for anybody but me, I'm not concerned. Like, I've never, ever had a scene end where I said, shit, I took it too far. Because I don't have to worry about anybody else. There's no, goodness, if I don't take the pain, I'll disappoint somebody else. And I know it sounds kind of selfish. It's about me. But I don't think it's selfish in this standpoint, because you're allowed to do things for yourself, folks. And I was doing this stuff for me, so I only took what I could. What enabled me to keep pushing myself was being that stubborn AF bitch.
Accurate.
So it's about the intention. So let's talk about submissives performing quote unquote dominant acts, right?
Yes, let's do. I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Oh, goodness. I might have to take the headphones off when you start screaming, but it's okay. We're ready for this. Right? This whole idea that submissives are not allowed to say no or set limits, because that's not a submissive thing to do. All right, go. I'm moving away from.
I'm covering my mouth.
No, you can do it. Do it.
All right, wait, you better take the headphones off.
Okay, go. Oh, you can do better than that.
No, I didn't want to deafen everybody who's actually listening.
Okay. That's the biggest bunch of horse shit I've ever heard. Absolutely, submissive can say no or set limits, because that's a part of consent, folks. It's not an act of rebellion. It's not trying to be dominant or in charge, but because there is something that submissives are still always going to be in charge of, and that is their agency, their autonomy. You don't give that away. I know people think they give it away, but no, the fact that you can say no, use a safe word, all of that, that's your autonomy.
So think of it as being held in trust for a certain amount of time.
Oh, I like that.
It is, you are giving the authority to this other person to hold for you for a certain amount of time, and then it's given back.
Or here's another one. If a submissive somehow takes the initiative and is like, I'd like to serve by doing X, I don't see that as being dominant or trying to take over. I see that as being proactive. Now, granted, some dominants do not want a proactive submissive, and that's valid. You are allowed to say that and have that in your dynamic if that's what you want. But then you need to sit down beforehand and discuss it and say, as the dominant, these are my limits. I want a reactive submissive, not a proactive submissive.
Isn't you had this one thing about, I think it was Voldemort wanted you to be proactive. Like, if you see the water glass is almost empty, don't even ask, just get up and get it.
That was one of the Robs.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know which one was which. Yeah. Like, that's or does the sub wait and say until the dominant says, get me some water?
Right. It's all about the dynamic you've got set up at the beginning. And if you are somebody who wants to be proactive, good for you. But then maybe a dominant who wants a reactive partner is just not a good fit for you. But it doesn't mean you're any less submissive. Some people like to serve by doing. And if they have to be told to do it, it doesn't feel the same as when they notice it and do it. So telling a submissive absolutely fucking can offer direction during a scene and say harder, please, or slower. Or in my case, things like, is that all you got? All the same stuff.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, and that's not topping from the bottom, people.
No, that is communicating. Now, here's the thing. A submissive can say harder, please, or not usually slower, because that usually to me falls differently. But you could say harder, please. And guess what? It's up to your partner to whether or not they give in to you. They could be like, not happening. Which is why I never say that to John, because he won't do it.
Say that to who?
To John.
Who's John? Oh, that John.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it hasn't, because I couldn't remember. Never mind. I'm not used to real names. So that actually threw me off.
Well, we normally don't use real names, but John is so generic.
Yes, that
does not narrow that down at all.
Momentary confusion.
Right? It is not taking any power away by communicating. You are allowed to communicate. And then if you have negotiated it such, the dominant can choose to do what you've asked for or not. It's about co-creation. And I understand that this kind of confusion can really hurt newcomers, right? Because people often look around and then they try to mimic what they see instead of exploring what feels right. And then you get now this imposter syndrome. Maybe I'm not really a sub because I don't do that. Or I like to take control sometimes, or I do it differently. And then we get the judgment. Oh, well, a real dom wouldn't do that, or a real submissive wouldn't do that. And please,
fuck that shit.
You know how we feel about that quote unquote real dom, real sub bullshit.
Fuck that shit.
If we can detach from the visual and what we think things look like and what they mean, and really return to the actual meaning, and again, the intention, then the lifestyle becomes so much more personal and real and inclusive, because there's no comparing about what is real or isn't real. So let's give some prime examples of what can trip people up. Here's one that I see a lot. Cooking. Right? Who's doing the cooking? Well, a dominant might cook because it's an act of authority. I'm deciding what's being served, when it's being served, and how it's being served. It could also be that I'm cooking because I'm going to take care of my toy. I'm putting fuel, same way I put gas into my car. I'm putting fuel into my submissive by making sure that they have a healthy meal. But cooking can also be a submissive act, because the submissive could be cooking the meal as an act of devotion or care, as a service. See, look, one act, depending upon the intention behind it, is whether it's D or an S.
So what I actually genuinely love the way Daddy J and I have it set up, because the way I love cooking. I love the act of cooking because, one, I'm good at it, and it is how I show Daddy J that I love him, because I can cook a delicious meal. I like the praise that I get from it, all of this stuff. But I don't normally choose what we're cooking for dinner because, so like yesterday, for example, we went through the recipe books, we went through, like stuff on Pinterest or whatever, and I said, I want to make a pie. That's all I said was, I want to make a pie. Do we want a chicken, or do we want like a shepherd's pie, or like what kind of pie? And he says, well, what about those handheld pies that you made that one time? Would that be kind of a pain in the ass? Because those are really good. I said, sure, I can make one of those. What kind do you want? He said, chicken pot pie. So I made handheld chicken pot pies, and they turned out fantastic. I got lots of praise because they were delicious. He actually went back and got a second one. And that made me feel really, really good that I was able to do that, but I did not have to make the decision. So he was taking care of me while I was taking care of him.
Exactly. And isn't that what is needed in a healthy relationship?
That's kind of the point. Yeah.
Because again, I'm going to say this out loud for the people in the back. A DS dynamic is still a relationship first. Because if you do not have a strong, healthy relationship, the DS is going to fall apart in a heartbeat.
Right.
Let's look at impact play. A top spanking a partner doesn't automatically mean they're dominant. Maybe the dominant is the one on the spanking bench being spanked, and the top is a submissive who is doing this at their dominant's request. Therefore, the dominant has probably set up the entire scene. All right, here's what I need you to do. These are the implements you're going to use, and these are the order you're going to use them in. And I want you to do this for like 30 minutes, and that should give me enough time to just kind of clear my mind and release. Maybe the dominant has some sort of medical condition that has them in chronic pain, and bottoming for the impact helps them deal with the medical pain, with the chronic pain. And so the top is absolutely serving the dominant, the bottom, by offering this.
100%.
Or it's their help. The dom is bottoming emotionally, but they're topping physically by telling the top what to do. A dominant can absolutely still enjoy being hit while maintaining authority, because the consent to receive is still very much a controlled choice. So it's not the pain that is defining the power, but the agency, say it with me, folks, intention behind the act is what's doing this. Let's talk about caretaking, aftercare, right? A dominant offering aftercare is fulfilling their responsibility. They are taking on caring for their toys. They're making sure that their partner is emotionally and mentally and physically in a good place. A submissive who is now offering aftercare to their partner, because maybe in the sense of the dominant who is bottoming, they're offering care showing devotion and gratitude. So both the dominant and the submissive are holding power in this case, just in different ways. And I go back to this idea that we would look sideways. And I know because I've been in this position, and I've had people look at me sideways at a dominant who doesn't give aftercare. Because nobody bothers to take into account that maybe the submissive said, no, thank you. Or that it hasn't been negotiated. But that's separate aside, right? If people have this idea that dominants have to offer, easy for me to say, have to offer aftercare, then you can't look at them always. You can't look at them and say, by cuddling and bringing food and brushing their hair, that somehow is not a dominant position. You can't have it both ways. And let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Let's talk about you and me.
And me.
All right. Let's talk about all of them. I got to finish the song. All right. Anyway, a sub asking for sex is not trying to control the situation. That is a vulnerable request saying, this is what I need. This is what I want. And a dom asking for sex is an expression of ownership or a desire to lead. So here you have the identical motion, the asking for sex, but the meaning is different because of context and consent and intention. So how do you figure out the intention? How do you identify the why? Well, ask yourself some questions. What part of this act feels emotionally satisfying? Do I feel grounded or small? Do I feel more devoted or more directive? Do I feel seen or do I feel that I'm in control? Right? And then what does this act communicate about my role or my need? For example, been talking to Sweets about a lot of fun stuff, specifically a scene where he would have to watch me and Diesel and not come. Edge, but not come, right? Fun, isn't it? Hot.
Mean.
I know. Thank you. I was very proud of myself.
Mean, personally, I'd love a scene like that. I love this idea very much. I'm recognizing how mean that is. It's perfect.
Okay. And he was like, he said, you don't want me to come? And I said, well, I want you to suffer for me.
Oh.
Right? That's the intention. I'm in control. Yeah, I know it's really mean of me. I love that. I'm mean like that.
Yeah, no, you're pure evil and it's fantastic.
Thank you. I keep telling people I am sadistic. I know I look cute and smiley and pink, but I'm mean as shit. I just do it with a smile so it confuses you.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll tell you something else we didn't talk about in the last section. This reminds me.
Okay.
Please and thank you. They are the magic words. If you want nice things to happen, they're the words that should be heard. I know I'm quoting Barney. I'm so sorry. But I hate this idea that a dominant doesn't say please or thank you. Like, what the fuck? I'm a dominant, not an asshole.
Okay.
Asshole. And if you know what that's from, I'm proud of you. Asshole. Okay? I can absolutely say please the first time. And then if you don't do it, now you do get the asshole. But
now you
deserved.
Piss me off.
But deserved. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I still expect you to do it, whether I've said please or not. There's no reason I can't be polite. And I'm going to thank you. If you do a good job, I'm going to thank you. You do what I ask you to do, I'm going to thank you. I can't help it. They are the magic words. I told you. But anyway. Okay. So going back to the reflection question. So I got so distracted with the scene in my head because it's hot. When I do this, am I giving power? Am I taking power or am I sharing the power? In this case, I know where I was going. So if I order Sweets to go down on me, right? Somebody might see, if they just walked in and they see a female laying on the bed and a man giving oral sex, right? Is this a dominant situation? Is the male the dominant or is the male submissive? You don't know. You can't tell. Is he the dominant because he's on top of me? Or am I the dominant because I've given him orders of what to do and he's doing it? You have to think about these things.
Yeah, you do.
So one of the things you could do is after scenes, journal. You know I love journaling, whether it be actually writing it down, just talking with your partner in a debriefing session, or just in your own head, because I like to do a lot of stuff in my own head. I have conversations with myself all the time. Please don't ask why. I just do.
I think that's actually more common than people think. I will sit in the car and act out conversations that I had that day and just sort of repeat them to myself.
And think of better responses you wish you had thought of then?
Yes.
Yes.
Or prepare for conversations that I need to have and work out the scenarios. But the thing is, I will do the face with it. I'll stand there and go, okay, so if you do this and then I do that and then da-da-da, but I'll do the whole conversation, including with facial expressions.
So really think about, what did I feel during this act and when did I feel most connected to my role? And did the act align with my intention or did it just look pretty to the people watching who have no idea what actually was discussed and negotiated? And then reframe things. Instead of saying, I'm not a good sub because I talk back. Say, well, my brattiness is a communication style, not defiance. My partner likes it when I give attitude because then it gives them an excuse to give me an attitude back. I always tell people I love brats because it gives me an excuse to brat back and be meaner. Right? I the only time I don't make me brats, but if you want to be sassy and sarcastic with me, bring that shit on, please. Instead of saying, I'm not a real dom because I cry. Think of it, I express my dominance through emotional honesty. I am in touch with my feelings and myself, which makes me actually a better dominant. So focus on the intention. It's going to build confidence and self-awareness. It's going to help you reduce comparison and judgment. And it's going to encourage authentic scenes and sustainable dynamics. And ultimately, I think it's going to make your kink much more fulfilling and emotionally intimate. So now you figured out the intention behind this, the why. Now it's time to sit with your partner and discuss all this and communicate and negotiate. So the first thing you want to ask is, what does this act mean to you? Right? Like when you do this, do you feel powerful? Do you feel cared for or surrendered? And then align your expectations. What do we each get from this scene emotionally? And this is going to deepen the connection because it's ensuring both partners understand each other's emotional needs. It's going to help prevent miscommunication. And miscommunication is a relationship breaker. So you want to kind of get through this and stop making assumptions. Actually talk things through. And it's going to also help create trust because it is helping you connect with your partner. So intention in this case is going to lead to safer kink play because you're not going to have misaligned intentions anymore. And your shared intentions are going to build clearer consent, reduce assumptions, and strengthen your dynamic entirely. So ultimately, to recap everything, if you learn nothing else from this entire episode, I want you to know that it is not the physical act that makes something dominant or submissive. It's about the purpose and the emotional exchange behind it. That power exchange is about the intention, not the performance. When you see a couple doing something, don't make assumptions based upon what you see because you have no idea what's been negotiated and what's been agreed to and consented to and what their intentions are. Yes, somebody on their knees could be a submissive, but they could also be a dominant taking care of their partner. And don't compare yourself to others. You do what works for you and your partner and your dynamic, and screw what anybody else thinks. Nobody else gets to have a say in your relationship other than you and your partner. Nobody else gets to decide whether your relationship looks right or wrong. Who fucking cares?
See, there we go with that word again. It's so versatile.
Love it. Who doesn't love a good fuck?
Asexual people.
Not necessarily. Asexual doesn't mean you never feel that way. Asexuality is a spectrum. There may be those who still like a good fuck. They just, don't need it as often. Doesn't mean they don't like a good one. What's the opposite of asexual? Very sexual?
Hypersexual.
Hypersexual. I would not say I'm hypersexual. I'm probably a happy medium.
I have a friend who actually is hypersexual.
That's going to be tough.
Well, the problem is she also has the same the condition that I do, which means she's super bendy, but it also really hurts because we're 40. So it sucks.
Those are actually two separate issues: the chronic health condition and the 40. You just have a double whammy. Listen, I started this lifestyle 10 years ago, and I will tell you, I am not nearly as bendy now as I was 10 years ago. The positions that I used to be able to get into for rope suspension, I do not think I could get into almost any of them at this point.
Well, as I said before, I can't even get on my knees. So
the mind is willing, but the flesh is going, not happening. I really encourage you to kind of stop and think about, let's say, one act that you do love and ask yourself, why? Why do I do it? I self-reflect all the time. It's why I can tell you things about that I take the pain from me and only me. I love to self-reflect. It's why I'm always learning and growing and trying to do things better. I stop and I like to think, how does this make me feel powerful or connected or surrendered? It's very interesting. So this dynamic that I'm sort of kind of creating with Sweets is very, very different with the last DS dynamic I had where I was the dominant. Because not only are my partners different, but the intention is different and their likes are different and their needs are different. And not only am I not the same person then, but what they need from me is very different. And so I'm constantly thinking in this new relationship, how do I get my intention across? How do I stay connected? How do I make myself feel powerful while still giving Sweets what he needs and wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does all of this mean in the context of this dynamic that we are slowly creating? Because we're learning. It's still, right? I've been doing this for 10 years. This is still a learning experience for me because it's not something I've ever done before. I kind of would like you all to stop and think for a minute, like, what's one thing people always label wrong in kink that somehow in your dynamic feels normal and satisfying and fulfilling? But an outsider who doesn't get it may look at it and go, that doesn't make sense.
Well, that's none of your fucking business.
Well, that's what they should be thinking. But I want it to be our business. I want them to tell us.
Well, yes, us. But like, if you're looking at somebody else going, that's not right, fuck off. That's none of your business.
I think if we can normalize some of these things that maybe to somebody who doesn't know better thinks that's a D or an S act without looking at the intention. If we could normalize, look at the intention and not the act itself, I think we will go a long way to helping educate new folks and dispelling some of these myths and making people feel more comfortable in their own skin and their own dynamic. So instead of looking at something going, oh, I don't do that, is that okay? Am I still valid? Am I still quote unquote real dom or real sub? So let's normalize and really teach people that it's the intention. It's not what you do, and it's how you do it.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a minute of our fun and educational content. New episodes drop every Friday.
If you love what we do and want to help us keep creating, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/pinkkinkpodcast. You can also support our affiliates to benefit small businesses and us at the same time.
No extra cash? No problem. You can still help by spreading the word about your favorite kinky podcast. Share us with your friends, and don't forget to rate and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Those 5-star reviews mean the world to us. And those 5-star reviews go a long way in boosting our podcast through the algorithm and reaching more listeners.
Sign up for our Pink Kink Institute classes. Shop at our Etsy shop, Pink Kink Boutique. Stay connected with us on social media. You'll find all the links on our link tree posted in the show notes.
Your support means the world to us. So until next time, stay pink
and level up your kink knowledge.